Good day and welcome again to my podcast channel. I am Revi and I'm excited and I'm happy that you are with me. I don't take it for granted at all. I'm the senior pastor of CGMI Water Resources District Headquarters of Airport Road Water Resources of Izapa as well. Today's episode is titled Communication in Marriage Part 1. Communication is so important in marriage. We're going to be doing it in 2 weeks. So Part 1 and Part 2. Many problems in marriages can be traceable to communication issues. Have you heard couples argue? One will say, I told you. The other will say, no, you didn't tell me. The other will say, I did. The other will say, no, you didn't. Then one person will now say, okay, I thought I told you. The other person will say, well, you didn't tell me. No, I told you. So, no, you didn't tell me. It's either there was no communication, or the communication was ineffective, or the communication was less than adequate, or it was a complete miscommunication, or the communication was indirect. And the other person thought that my spouse is smart now, she will get the message or he will get the message, but the message was not God. See, by the grace of God, I'm a trained and certified communicator, so I know a thing or two about communication, and I trust that I will be a blessing to somebody today. No business or no marriage can thrive without effective communication. At this point, it's important to note that communication in marriage starts right during the courting period. Right during the courting period, that's when the attempt at effective communication should commence. But during the courting period, communication is on a need-to-know basis, but you must deliberately communicate things about your life, about your family, gradually to your partner. Some of that communication is systematically. What I mean systematically is that you deliberately plan it, that today I'm going to communicate this, tomorrow I'm going to communicate that, next month I'm going to communicate this, So some of the communication that takes place during courtship, some of them is systematic, while some others come at the spur of the moment. Now, the aim during courtship is not to say too much, but at the same time to say just about enough. You don't want to say everything from Genesis to Revelation. It might not be necessary, but you need to say enough, communicate enough. But when you become married, the communication pattern will change to over-communication if possible. You need to keep talking and talking, not in the sense of being a talkative, but in the sense of finding the right time to talk about almost any and everything, ranging from your feelings. You need to communicate your feelings about food, your feelings about places, your feelings about people, neighbors and friends, your feelings about things generally. You need to communicate your feelings to your spouse or to your fiancé, as the case may be. You need to communicate suggestions to your spouse, about the way the home is run, the school the children should attend or not attend, the business you or your spouse should do or not, suggestions that you have. Don't keep them to yourself. You need to communicate. Even if your suggestion is not taken, it's important that at least you communicate it. You need to communicate your needs and your expectations. It's important what you need, what you think you are lacking, that you think your spouse may be able to give to you. You need to communicate it. You understand? Your sexual needs, your emotional needs, your financial needs, your spiritual needs, communicate. You need to also communicate your hurts or disappointment. You are not happy, your spouse did something you are not happy about. Rather than bottle it in there, communicate it in a very polite way. Communicate your hurts. You need to also communicate daily happenings, like what happened at work, what happened at school, what happened in church, what happened in the market, what happened in the neighborhood, what happened as you were driving to from work, as you were driving. Communicate. That's the essence. That's why we are married. Your mate, your partner, your spouse is now your gossip mate. It's now it's your buddy. Communication in the home can either be formal or informal. Today we will talk about informal communication. Informal communication is somewhat casual, unofficial, and the information is often exchanged spontaneously in the home. Just, that's informal communication. Information is just exchanged spontaneously, and then it's often casual and unofficial. Informal communication could either be verbal or non-verbal, and it is very convenient for lots of couples, very, very convenient, because you just go with the flow, you just talk about things, you just gist, it's very, very effective for lot. In fact, there are some couples that have never had anything formal communication. It's just informal. Everything is just freestyle, but it has its own demerits. And the first on the list of the disadvantages of informal communication is that important messages may not be taken seriously, because you are eating popcorn, or you are cooking in the kitchen, or you are playing football, you are playing soccer, and then you are communicating. Some important messages may not be taken seriously. Number two, many people try to pass messages indirectly with the hope that their spouse will get the message. Sometimes their spouse get the message, sometimes their spouse do not get the message. So that's one of the disadvantages of informal communication. And then third on the list of informal disadvantages of informal communication is lots of distortions to messages can happen due to noise, and noise can either be internal or external. Noise can be internal or it can be external. External noise like music playing in the background, noise in the neighborhood, or rain falling and everywhere is noisy. Internal noise may be about what is troubling the person from inside. It's like a noise from within, So you may communicate 5 things to your husband. You may communicate 5 things to your husband during his favorite football match, and he only hears one of all the things that you are saying because of noise. He's disturbed because his mind is not really there. Or you may communicate several things to your wife, but she only heard one out of all the several things you have been saying. Many people feel that they are communicating, but they wonder why they don't get the result they desire. It's very important for us to note, if we want our communication to be effective, when you communicate, ensure you are understood. Ensure the person got the message you want the person to get by demanding for some form of feedback. Your job is not done until you are sure that the person got the exactly right message that you want the person to get. So seek feedback. Number 2, if you want your communication to be effective, timing is the key. Timing is the key. It's important to time your communication perfectly. Watch and be sure that the time is right. You don't want to communicate certain matters to your husband, especially when he just heard that there are rumors of downsizing in his company, and his mind is troubled. That's when you are bringing some useless communication, or there's trouble. You just get the timing right. Number 3, choose your communication medium carefully. Less important things can be discussed informally, but things that are very, very important should be discussed formally. So it's important to choose your medium of communication very, very well. Next week, we will talk about formal communication. Today, we're just dealing with informal communication. You understand? But until then, I want you to know that the success of a formal communication in marriage depends largely on your success communicating informally. How do I mean? It's the normal gisting, the normal informal gisting that you do, and over time, it broods friendship, and in the place of friendship, when there is a time or there's a session for formal communication, that's when the formal communication will be more productive. Informal communication is usually born from the place of friendship, and develop a strong friendship with your spouse. Talk, gist, gossip, laugh a lot. It paves the way for a fruitful formal conversation or communication between a husband and a wife. If you are not good friends who chit-chat a lot, formal communication may be confrontational and often counterproductive. Next week, we shall talk about formal communication and how couples can take advantage of it. But in the meantime, on the space of informal communication, do it a lot, gist a lot, talk a lot. You are supposed to be best friends. Now, even if you're not best friends now, communicate a lot. In the process of communicating, gisting, chat with yourself on WhatsApp, flirt with yourself on WhatsApp, chat, gist, talk about your feelings, talk about happenings of the day, get a CUG line, call your spouse, gist and play and laugh. I do that a lot. Especially when I'm out of town, I talk to my wife on the average 1 hour daily, average 1 hour day, sometimes up to 2 hours. We just talk and gist and laugh and talk and gist and laugh about any and everything. It's very, very important. The problem in many marriages is because of lack of communication. If you want to enjoy your marriage, you need to communicate more. Communicate more. So today we've dealt with informal communication. Next week we're going to deal with formal communication, because you need formal communication to sort out certain issues in your home. I wish you a great relationship and a happy marriage. I'm Revi, your relationship mentor and senior pastor, CGMI, Water Resources District Headquarters off Airport Road, Water Resources Road, Warri. My book is out. Hey, you need to tell me congratulations. My book is out. Marriage Aglow. Testimonies are already pouring as a result of that book. People are getting blessed. You can get a copy in Warri in Praise Bookshop, Praise Center along Jakpa Road. And then if you're out of Warri, give me a call, message me, and you'll get one. Take care. God bless. See you next week.